Good morning, everybody. It's Peter here from AJS, also representing our sister business in New Zealand, G&A Warburtons. And once again, we're taking you into a jeweller's workshop somewhere in Australasia. And this week, we're heading right across the continent to sunny Geraldton and the even sunnier Penny Layton. Hello, Penny. How are you?
Morning. Hello, everybody. Welcome to my studio in Geraldton.
It's great to see you back again, Penny. And we were just determined this is your 12th online demonstration. So congratulations on that milestone.
Thanks, AJS, for having me 12 times.
No, that's great. Now, the title of the presentation today, Penny, is Turning Your Trash into Treasure. Would you like to elaborate on what we're going to get up to today?
Yes. So as jewelers, we have lots of little bits that we save, and I'm really chronic for saving everything. I have little tubs like this one, and with all my little bits of silver that I keep absolutely everything in it, and even more so if you're working with gold, but I predominantly work with silver. And I have many little tubs that I keep my scrap in, and I kind of have, one for bigger pieces, smaller pieces. This one is like for these kind of things where they're all like little cutouts and crazy little shapes. And, I've cut out from around, that one there's all caught up, but I've cut out from around a stone or something that I've been doing. Anyway, keep it all because you just never know what you might be able to use it with or for and turn it into something. So today all I will be using is my scrap and a weighted hammer, a very heavy weighted hammer. Now this hammer I have got from an auto shop, but you can buy brass hammers from AJS and Jewelry Supplies, but you want something that's got some really good weight in it, a nice heavy hammer. And what I've done with my scrap, I've already done some for us because I figured everybody pretty much might know how to melt some silver. So all I've done, where am I gonna, there we go, in my hand there. I've turned all these little bits, I've just gathered up little bits of silver and melted up on my bench. Doesn't need to be perfect, just made it into a little blob. Try not to get too much sort of bubbling or crazy surface on the top if you can, but you can always just quickly whiz it with some sandpaper or give it a bit of a file if we needed to. So all I did was just bunch my little scrap up onto my brick, heat it all up until it just magically grows into a little ball. And then so I've got my scrap, and then I've been lucky enough to get can be a bit rare, these little guys. These are like a little cast, and mine has 6 different little shapes in it that I'm going to just tape my little ball of silver to, and then with my weighted hammer I'm going to hit and force the silver down into this little cast, and then we can use these as embellishments, or even just take that one piece that I've smashed and maybe use it as a charm or something simple on a necklace. So this is, as you can see, quite a thick piece of brass that has these little molds in there. I got mine from a lady. She's in the UK, and her business name is EL Silver. You can have a look at her on Facebook. She has multiple pages, and she from time to time has a big sale on these things. All right, so some that I've done previously, maybe just if I show you those as well, that I've just bashed are these 2 guys here. And then what you would do is you could saw around that shape, and then you could solder them onto a stone, the plate that a stone is resting on, or like I say, you could maybe make it into a charm, or just simply solder it onto a plate and make a piece out of that. So let's show you how to do this. Like I say, it's nothing real difficult to it. The other little gadget that I've got, I believe this is from a watchmaker's tool belt, perhaps, or toolkit, and it would be to open the back of watches. I don't work with watches, but it works for me to be able to, if should something get stuck in my little cast. So I've got varying sizes of little balls of silver that I've melted down. Let's choose one that you want, something that sort of fits just over the top of your little mold. I like to use, I'm going to just move some stuff because I'm going to get hammering. I like to use some masking tape just to hold that bit of silver down. I'm going to end up bashing through the masking tape, but at least it'll be well and truly inside the mold by then. So let's just pop that on there, tape it down. Now I've got mine resting on my steel block. My steel block, I've just got some padding underneath it to take away some of that jarring and banging and absorb some of that hitting. I don't use anything really super fancy. I've just got like some paper towel to protect my block. And then this is like, I think it's rubber, and I think you use it to draw, to line your drawers. And I just buy a roll of it from somewhere like Spotlight or a Red Dot or any of those kind of shops and cut it up into pieces and use it. You could use a sandbag, I guess, as well, if you had a sandbag. So I've taped it into place. I'm going to get my big heavy hammer, keeping my hands out of my way. Maybe I might just get it started with my hands holding onto it once I've got it in there. So I'm going to hammer and try not to talk so that you won't hear me while I'm hammering anyway. Oi. Okay, let's have a little look, see what I've done here. Look, this has been a lot of experimenting for me as well, using this little gadget. Sometimes I peel it out and I'm like, oh, could have hit it for a little bit longer. And because we're playing with our scrap, you know, at the end of the day, if I have to take that and melt it down and do it again, no biggie. It's just scrap. It's just silver scrap. We're just going to melt it and try again if it didn't work. So, but what I've managed to do with that one is create, I guess it kind of looks like a filigree type scenario. Hopefully you'll be able to see. How's that look, Pete? Is that, there we go. So you've got some fine little details in the block there that I've picked up in the silver. One corner maybe I could have focused a little bit more on, but yeah, that's kind of basically it. Would you like me to do another one? Shall I do another one? Pete, I can't hear you, just to let you know.
Right, here I am.
There you go.
Yep.
Did you pick that
Thanks
up?
for that, Penny.
Was that okay?
Yeah, we could see that. Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Shall I do another one?
Yeah, sure. Can you just point your the camera that's pointing at the the bench just down a little bit?
I don't know if it will go down. Oh, maybe where I've been.
That's fine.
How's that?
Yeah,
I think
that's
where
perfect. Yeah.
Going a bit nuts on me. All right, I'll do another one. Let's do the little. There's like a flower down there, so maybe I'll give that one a go. Let's see if I can find something that'll fit into there. That looks like a good one. I like to use the masking tape, like I say. Now, I've got another little die cast plate that I'm going to show you as well. It's not necessarily for using with your scrap, but it is comes from the same supplier, and it's just another way of turning something plain into something a little bit different. So everything is taped down. I'm just going to give it a whack again. Oh, that just jumped down. It did jump out for me, so let's see what's happened here. I was hoping maybe one would get stuck so that I can show you what to do should it get stuck. Yeah, so all I'm going to do is use that little tool there. I've got it facing me, so you can't really see what's happening. I've just picked up my rawhide hammer, and I'm just going to give a little tap out, and it will just pop out. So that's the little flower. So you could use your jeweler's saw, and you could carefully saw around the little petals. Maybe you want to leave like a little fine edge around it. I did just dig out a stone just so that then you might want to, you know, your stone would have a back plate on it, and you would maybe leave some room for you to solder some little embellishments on there like that. Same with this guy here. You might want to, you know, add something onto there, or maybe even want to turn that one around. Whatever works. But I kind of like, I'll just put that out of the way before I go breaking it. You know, these ones here that have quite a nice little pattern and everything to them, I think would make like a nice charm. It could even go on the top of a ring, an embellishment on top of your ring. Yeah, loads of things that you could do with these little guys that you've just thumped out of the little cast. So the other cast that I have is this one here, which has got lines all the way through. Each line is a different pattern. And I'm going to demonstrate on some copper just so that I'm not wasting some of my half round silver. I did do some half round silver so that you could see. Can you hopefully you can see that. So yeah, this little one here, which has got lots of different patterns that you could thump into some half round. Again, I've experimented. Half round seems to be the best way to go. So that was just some. Oh, I think this might be 4x2. So that it fits into the mold. Again, it'd just be a matter of experimenting, but it's given me quite a nice little pattern on the half round there, so that I could either maybe just use that as in a section, or it can be tricky and it takes practice, but you can get the whole length of your metal. So if I show you this one that I did earlier on the copper's probably a bit hard to see in the camera, but the whole pattern I've managed to get across the wire. And I did some brass as well when I polished up a little bit, and it looks a bit sort of rope like. So it's just
it's an interesting effect, isn't it?
Yeah, like I say, it takes a little bit of practice to be able to, because you've only got like a small section, so you would
so your joins are an issue.
Yeah, you line it up, but it kind of just clicks into place where the next one needs to go.
Okay.
So if you like, I'll just do a quick one with some copper just so that you can see it's the same kind of process. Which one will we choose? Let's try this guy here. So you can see that you need that to fit right over the top of your little die cast gadget. And again, I'm just going to use, I'm not going to use masking tape with this one. I'm going to just hit it because I've got metal out here to hold on to.
Yeah.
So with the little blobs though, they're like little bullets just flying around.
Oh, you don't want to hold those.
Yeah, I like to just have them like taped down a little bit for me. The copper is really soft, and I haven't annealed this because I was bending it and playing around with it before we started. So you can see it's mushed in pretty quickly. And that's kind of come up there. But then you're just like I say, it's not too hard to line up. Let's follow that pattern along. So we'll go again. You want to make sure when you're doing any of this that the metal is annealed and annealed well. Yeah, so that's just made like a nice little pattern on my half round that then I could just turn that into a ring. Again, maybe it's an embellishment around a stone. Yeah, lots of ways that you could use that, I think. And they're just a couple of little tools or gadgets that I've picked up to try and use within my jewelry making, and maybe using things like the scrap that you end up with so much of that you know are putting to use. So hopefully that was. Did anybody have any questions? Pete, was anything?
If anyone does have any comments or questions, if you'd like to put those forward, that would be great.
Cool. I can always come back later if somebody has any questions. I always try to check back. So if somebody did have a question, I can always answer at a later date. But pretty much that's all that I had to show you today. Like I did say, it was like nothing too technical, or but you know, like I know this bicep's feeling a bit stronger, and I'm feeling a bit more like having it whacked to something that's you know, I've got a bit of frustration. So yeah.
Paul Hogan would be proud of that hammer. You know what he'd say, don't you?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Now that's a hammer.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, to get rid of a little bit of frustration while creating something,
Yeah.
that's you can't beat that, Penny.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. So you've got lots of different combinations of patterns, have you? How much
Um,
variety?
I haven't. These are the only two that I have. I mean, obviously the long one gives you quite a lot of different ones to use, and there's some sort of geometrical shapes, some flowers, some ropes in there. But I have seen these ones with that I used for the little balls of silver. I've seen like big round plates, and that is just
Okay.
covered in patterns. So they're out there. They're a little tricky to find. I have come across them on Etsy before as well. It's always just a bit problematic if it's coming from overseas. They're quite heavy as well. I think that's why I quite liked
Mm.
is because they were small and then my freight wasn't too much since these ones were coming from the UK. I'm sure there's probably somewhere out there that's in Australia that sells them as well. I haven't really been able to find anything at this point, but yeah, I mean, like I say, some of them are like massive big discs, like this sort of size, and it's just covered in different shapes and patterns and all sorts of stuff. So I don't think that it would take very much research to be able to find something that suited your work. I mean, I just chose things that I thought were going to work with the pieces that I do. So the one I've got is like that little flower and some of the little balls, and it's another little kind of half semicircle with some little lines in it. And I thought that I could, use the little balls and the semicircles around pieces and things like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, well, it's all experimentation. You try something and you go, hey,
Yeah.
I can use this for that. And
Absolutely.
where you go, you'd end up discovering your favorites.
Yes.
And hopefully we've given a few people a few ideas out there
Yeah.
today, Penny.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you very much for that. Thanks everyone for joining us, and we'll look forward to seeing you all again sometime real soon.